Hello everyone. Today our topic is what is organizing? Organizing is leadership that enables people to turn the resources they have into the power they need to make the change they want. As we all learn throughout this guide community, organizing is all about people, power and change. It starts with people and relationships is focused on shifting power and aims to create lasting change. Organizing people to build the power to make change is based on the mastery of five key leadership practices: telling stories, building relationships, structuring terms, and strategizing and acting. That is to develop our capacity for effective community organizing. We must learn the five leadership practices, how to articulate a story of why we are called to lead, a story of the community we hope to mobilize and why we are united, and a story of why we must act, how to build intentional relationship as the foundations of purposeful collective actions, how to create structure that distributes power and responsibility and prioritizes leadership development, how to strategize turning your responses or resources into the power to achieve clear goals, how to translate strategy into measurable, motivational, and effective actions. Though organizing is not a linear process, organizers use the first three practices, that is, stories, relationship, and structure, to build power within a community, while the last two practices, strategy and actions, are about wielding the power in order to create change. Now, people, the first question an organizer asks is, who are my people? Not what is my issue. Effective organizers put people, not issues, at the heart of their efforts. Organizing is not about solving a community problems or advocating on its behalf. It is about enabling the people with the problem to mobilize their own resources to solve and keep it solved. Identifying a community of people is just the first step. The job of a community organizer is transform a community, a group of people who share common values or interest, into a constituency, a community of people who are standing together to realize a common purpose. The difference between community and constituency lies in the commitment to take action to further common goals. For example, a community could be residents of a town that are against a new dam project, while a constituency would be residents of the town against the dam who have signed a petition to take action to stop the dam from the being built. So organizing is a fancy word for relationship and power. Organizing focuses on power, who has it, who doesn't, and how to build enough of it to shift the power relationship and bring about change. So, Reverend Martin Luther, according to him, and the strength requires to bring about social, political, and economic change. In organizing, power is not a thing or trait. Organizers understand power as the influence that is created by the relationship between interest and resources. Here, interests are what people need or want: to protect a river, to stay in public office, to make money, while resources are assets, people, energy, knowledge, relationship, and money that can be readily used to, in the case of organizing, achieve to change you need or want. Understanding the nature of power that is seen or that is stems from the interplay between interest and resources, and that we must shift power relationship in order to bring about change is essential for the success of our organizing efforts. Now, from the example above, the constituency against the dam may ask question aimed at tracking down the power, that is, inquiring into the relationship between actors and particularly the interest and resources of these actors in this struggle. For instance, they might ask questions like, what are our interests, or what do we want, who holds the resources needed to address these interests, what are their interests, or what do they want. In doing so, the town residents may realize that their local town council is a key actor, that local councillor want to stay in office and need votes to do so. And in turn, the constituency holds the resources of people, relationships, and votes that could shift this power relationship and bring about change. Now, change. In organizing, change must be specific and concrete and significant. Organizing is not about raising awarenesses or speech making, though this may contribute to an organizing effort. It is about specifying a clear goal and mobilizing your resources to achieve it. Indeed, if organizing is about enabling others to bring about change and especially securing commitment from a group of people with shared interest to take actions to further common goals, then it's critical to define exactly what these goals are. In this case of this proposed dam project from above, the constituency against the dam must create clear and measurable goals. Note the difference between our goal is to stop the dam versus our goal is to put pressure on town council in the next 3.5 months through door knocking events or local newspaper or ads aimed at getting of town residents to sign our petitions to pass a motions to stop the dam project. We will learn how to come up with goals in the strategizing sections and how to achieve them in the acting sections also. Now, the snowflake model, a distributed approach to leadership. We define leadership as accepting responsibility for enabling others to achieve purpose in the face of uncertainty, and the organizational model that best embodies this understanding of leadership is what we call the snowflake model. First, in the snowflake model, leadership is distributed. No one person or group of people holds all the power. Responsibility is shared in a sustainable way and structure aimed to create mutual accountability. The snowflake is made up of interconnected terms working together to further common goals. Now, second, the snowflake model is based about all on enabling others. A moment's strength teams or streams from its capacity and commitment to develop leadership. And in the snowflake model, everyone is responsible for identifying, recruiting, and developing leaders. Leaders develop others' leaderships, who in turn develop others' leaders, and so on. So you will learn about the snowflake model in greater detail in the structuring term sections, but for now reflect on the organizational structures that you have been a part of in your work, school, or other areas of your life. How might you draw out these structures? Where did you fit into those structures? And how did you feel in your role? Now take a look. In closing, keep the snowflake structures and the core tenet of people, power, and change in mind as we dive deeper into the 5 practices of organizing. telling stories, building relationships, structuring teams, and strategizing and acting also. 5 organizing practices. Learning how to organize people to build the power they need to make change. Begin with learning 5 key relationship practices, that is disorganizations, leaderships and organizations. Passive, shared story, active, divide, relationship, commitment, united, drift, clear structure, purpose, reactive, creative strategy, initiative, demobilized, effective actions, and mobilized. Now, creating shared story. Organizing is motivated by shared values expressed through public narrative. And by learning the craft of public narrative, we can access our shared values for the emotional resources we need to respond to challenges with courage rather than reacting to them with fear. By learning to tell stories of resources of our own values, a story of self, we enable people to get us by telling stories of the resources or sources of value we shared. A story of us, we enable people to get each other. Now, by recognizing of current moment as one of the urgent joys and proposing a hopeful way forward, a story of now, we motivate actions. Values-based organizing, in contrast to issue-based organizing, invites people to escape their issue silos and come together so that their diversity becomes an asset rather than an obstacle. By learning how to tell a public narrative that bridges the self, us and now, organizers enhances their own efficacy and create trust and solidarity within their campaign, equipping them to engage others far more effectively. Creating shared relationship commitment. Organizing is based on relationships and creating mutual commitments to work together. It is the process of associations, not simply aggregations, that makes a whole greater than the sum of the parts. Though associations, we can learn to recast our individuals' interest as common interest and identify values we share and envisions objectives that we can use our combined resources to achieve. And because it makes us more likely to act to assert those interest, relationship buildings goes far beyond delivering a message, extracting a contributions or soliciting a vote. Now, relationship build as a result of one-on-one meeting create the foundations of local campaign and teams, and they are rooted in commitment people make to each other, not simply commitment to an idea, task or issues. Now, creating shared structure. A team leadership structure can enable organizing that grows stronger through collaborative and cascading leadership development. Volunteer efforts often flounders due to a failure to develop reliable, consistent, and creative individuals relationship. Structured leadership teams encourages stability, motivations, and creativity and accountability also, and use volunteer time, skills, and effort effectively. They create a structure within which energized volunteers can accomplish challenging work. Real team can achieve the goals they set for themselves, grow more effective as a team over time, and enable the growth, development, and learning of their individual members also. Effective leadership teams must be bounded, stable, and diverse. They must agree on a shared purpose, clear norms, and specific roles also. Now, creating shared strategy. Although based on a broad values, effective organizing campaigns focus on a clear strategic objectives. a way to turn these values into actions and desegregate buses in uh, Montogreti, getting to 100% clean electricity, etc. Translocal campaigns locate responsibility for strategy at the top or at the center, but are able to chunk out strategic objectives in time deadlines and space local areas as campaign, allowing significant local responsibility for figuring out how to achieve those objectives. Responsibility for strategic local objectives empower, motivates and invest local teams. Creating shared measurable actions. Organizing outcomes must be clear, measurable and specific if progress is to be evaluated. Accountability practiced and strategy adapted based on experience. So measures may include volunteers and recruited, money raised, people at a meeting voted and contacted, pledge cards signed, laws passed, etc. Although electoral campaigns enjoy the advantage of very clear outcome measures, any effective organizing drive must come up with the equivalent and regular reporting of progress to goal creates opportunity for feedback, learning and adaptations also. Training must be provided for all skills, that is holding the house meeting, phone, banking, etc. to carry out the program. Social media may help enable reporting, feedback, coordinations and transparency must exist as to how individuals, groups and the campaign as a whole are doing with regard to their progress toward their goals. Now, organizing your constituency. This manual focuses on the design of an organizing campaign. Organizing your constituency. This manual focuses on the design of an organizing campaign, but the real work of organizing is done with one's constituency, as the organizing is about enabling a constituency to develop the power. It needs to assert its interest effectively, not only in this moment but also in the future. Organizers being by building a foundations within their constituency. This usually requires one-on-one meeting to learn the people's real concerns and discerns real sources of their problems. So figure out power dynamic and identify, recruit and develop leaderships. A campaign is a process through which a constituency can organize itself to create the power it needs to achieve its goals. And by turning their campaign efforts into an organization, they will have the capacity to build on their successes into the future. So, civic engagement is also organized as a campaign, a way of mobilizing time, resources and energy to achieve an outcome and treat time as an arrow rather than a cycle. Thinking of time as a cycle helps to maintain routines, normal procedures or annual budgets, etc. Thinking of time as an arrow focuses on making changes, on achieving specific outcomes, on focusing our efforts. And campaign is time as an arrow. It is an intense stream of activity that begins with foundational period, builds to a kick-off, builds to periodic peaks and culminating in a final peak, followed by a revolutions. Our workshops will follow the same pattern, each practice and building on what went before and creating a foundations for what comes next. So we also take a particular approach to structuring leaderships, a structure that enables us to develop the leadership of others even as we exercise our own. Sometimes we think leadership is about being the response or the person that everyone goes to. How does it feels to be the dot in the so who's responsible for coordinating everyone, and who's responsible for focusing on the good of the whole, not just one particular part? With whom does the bump stop? So another way to practice leadership is like these snowflake leadership practices, by developing others leaders who in turn develop their leaders all the way down. And although we may be dot, so your success depends on developing the leaderships of others. So leadership is organizing is about enabling others to achieve purpose in the face of uncertainty. Coaching enables others, and organizing campaigns are rich about challenges and learning opportunities, but sometimes we are fish in our own water and we cannot see the challenges we are swimming in. Coaching in organizing helps to alleviate these problems. Coaching helps individuals to overcome a motivational strategy and informational challenges that might ourselves or our otherwise hinders the progress of individuals and or the team, and thus the campaign or training. Now, what is coaching or in organizing? Coaching is a direct interventions in an individual or team's work progress to help them improve their effectiveness. And coaching is a leadership practices that is useful in a variety of contexts in organizing campaigns and trainings. Some examples of when coaching skills are necessary: helping an organizers overcome motivational challenges with their volunteers, assisting a leadership team in creating strategy for their organizing campaign. Coaching is useful whenever we are working to enable others to build their own capability or capacity to act, and though the context vary, the process is very similar output. Now, elements of coaching. Coaching requires learning to identify a person's or team's strengths and weaknesses to help them draw upon their strengths to overcome their weaknesses also. And people often know what they should do, but fresh eyes can help diagnose specific challenges they face while identifying ways to deal with them. And coaching approaches corrective. Some coaching is aimed at helping improve poor performance, that is, the coachee is overall not doing the leadership practice well and needs help getting up to a basic level development. Some coaching is aimed at helping the individuals achieve mastery, that is, the coachee does the leadership practice well and is ready to become expert. Now, motivational coaching, strategic coaching, how to why, educational coaching actions. Basic elements of coaching are the same. Now, how coaching works? Coaching requires learning how to use 4 methods to implement 5 steps. The 4 methods are asking questions, listening, head and heart, supporting and challenging. Now, observe. What do we see and hear? Listen very carefully, observe body language, and ask very focused, probing questions to satisfy yourselves that you get the problem. It may take time to get the facts and straight, but if you do not get the problem, you can't help solve it. Don't be shy about asking specific, stubborn questions. This process can help the coaches articulate just what the problem is in a way they may not have before. So it's not only getting informations. So that's the end of the video, my friends. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel. Thanks a lot for watching.